today's Artifact Spotlight video. Today I thought I'd bring to you a little bit of a change over time Artifact Spotlight. Oakview was a functioning farm from roughly the 1850s to the 1950s. So in our educational programs and tours, we like to share with visitors the history of how Piedmont farms like Oakview changed over time. So the first artifact that I want to point out is this artifact right here. It's an iron. Now this specific iron is the Instant Light gasoline iron made by the Coleman Lamp Company in Wichita, Kansas, and it dates from roughly 1920 to 1948. Now we all know what irons are used for. They're used to smooth wrinkles out of cloth, and the way that ironing was done has changed over time. So I have another artifact to show you down here. This is a different type of iron. This is called a sad iron or a flat iron, and it's made out of solid cast iron material, so it's very solid and it's very heavy. And the way that this iron worked is that it was heated up either directly in the fireplace or on a stove, and then it was taken up, picked up, either with cloth or something to protect the hand because the whole thing heated up since it's all cast iron. And then it was run over cloth to smooth all the wrinkles out. Now this was certainly, ironing was a hot chore. It was laborious, took a lot of skill, especially ironing this way. One thing that would make it a little bit easier was this right here. This is called a laundry stove. So the way the laundry stove works is that your fire or your coals would go in the middle here. It would heat up the whole thing because once again this is cast iron. You could either heat up water or irons on top, and then there were also hooks on the side to store your iron. Because ironing this way with these sad irons, to be effective you needed at least a 2-iron system, because while one was in use you always had one heating up, so you could switch them out so you'd always have a hot iron. Now like I said, this was a pretty labor-intensive chore, and it actually took a lot of skill because you didn't want to burn yourself, you didn't want to scorch the cloth. These are metal irons, so they had to be taken care of. They couldn't get rusty. They needed to be the correct temperature to not burn. And one method of checking the temperature on the iron was actually to spit on the iron, because then you could figure out, depending on how fast your spit evaporated, whether your iron was hot enough. Now irons like this flat iron or sad iron, they date back to even the 1500s in Europe, so they were used for a very long time. But eventually, with the advent of electricity, electric irons became much more popular and much more common. Here at Oakview, there was no electricity at the farm until the 1940s. So even though electric irons became popular in the 1900s, they still wouldn't have been a possibility here. So another alternative to an electric iron would have been a gasoline-powered iron. So this vessel right here actually holds the pressurized gasoline, and so what that means is that this iron is self-heating, so no more dealing with a fire or trying to switch any out. It's self-heating, and so it makes the job a little bit easier, makes it a little bit faster as well. So even though this changed the way that ironing was done, there were certainly some drawbacks as well, because it's pretty dangerous to light pressurized gasoline. So even though this made doing ironing maybe a little bit faster, a little bit quicker, a little bit easier, it still would have had to have been approached with the same caution and skill that all other domestic chores on the farm would have had to be approached with by the women who would have been doing them. Thank you for following along with us. If you have any questions about the artifacts, feel free to let us know.